But they took the music off. That was the problem.
Yeah, we were dancing to that. That's pretty nice. That drum beat gets me going here each and every day. Besides the fantastic racing and the beautiful weather this afternoon, we got that good drum beat, and we got lots going on this afternoon. Fast main track, Fern Turf, of course. Really a beautiful day in South Florida. It's finally warmed up for us here in South Florida. In case you're good afternoon.
Yes, 12:07 now with the later post. First post now 1:10 p.m. on the weekdays. And, yeah, that's definitely a good way to start the day, get the blood pumping, get excited for all of the great stuff we have coming up. Though one thing I'd rather not mention but have to is I'm up for Beat the Expert. It's always a lot of fun. We joke about it. Yeah, we're in the hot seat every week. I'm up. It's my turn this week. It's free to play. 10 races. See if you can pick more winners than me.
Yeah, I get a good feeling. I think you're going to beat everybody this afternoon. I get a good feeling about that. So, yeah, that is a little later on. Of course, we have the Stronach 5 a little later on. And, of course, $850,000 today in the Rainbow Six Jackpot Guarantee. So that is races 5 through 10. I can't believe we're going to be approaching $1 million already.
It's pretty crazy. It's grown really quickly, especially throughout the week, too. So $850,000 guaranteed in the jackpot pool. See if you can take it down or get 6 out of 6. Always pays well, too. Just a 20-cent base wager.
Well, you know, we are, once again, which is the beautiful thing about Gulfstream, we're starting the day with a big, full turf field to kick off the early pick 5. You got to have your handicapping hats ready to go, and let's see how your early pick 5 ticket looks.
Well, I think you prefaced it perfectly, Ron. It's a big field. The current tepid favorite is from post 12. We'll go from post 11 with the scratch of the main track only at 7-2. I'm 4 deep here in the opener, just not really knowing where to go. And then I'm 2 deep in the rest of the sequence. I've got the rematching horses is She Frosted and Nuska in race number 2. A couple of horses with Decology and It's a Risk in the third. Fourth race, I've got kind of, I think, the 2 logical drop down. Precocious Peach, Foxy Bell ran well last time out. And then we wrap things up in race number 5 with Berhanu and Bibu.
Bibu.
I like saying that. It's a fun name.
Yeah, and a break from post 8 this afternoon. Got some scratches to the inside. So for Brad Cox, from Brian Cox, that was a football player. So with the first race, as we get ready, fast track, firm turf course. It is a wide-open affair. I did go with the number 12 horse on top of my ticket today, Some Nation. Just thought maybe this horse would have a shot. Got a deal, as you said, with post 11 today.
Does come out of a key race, so I had a feeling you might be interested in this one. And wasn't prepared at the start. We'll backtrack to that December 3rd race. And it's not easy to claim off of Todd Pletcher, but it's especially not easy when you have to overcome a start like this. Just threw her head up, off really, really slow. Spotting the field at the back of the pack early on. So she had a lot of things to overcome. Then as we go into the stretch, she's very wide closing here too. She was coming on though as well as Serenaded Kitten, who won this race, came back to win again with a 63 buyer speed figure. We also saw Cheerleader Barb come back to win next time out. But I thought Some Nation actually ran very well as she'll come back into the screen there on the outside.
Yeah, after breaking poorly like we just showed you. So, yeah, and I'm going to go, but later on this afternoon and tomorrow, I'm going to look and just see how many horses have won from outside posts this year, like the 11 and 12. Seems like so many more this year than previous years.
And I think not just winning, too. We've seen horses run well and maybe come up just a little bit short, but maybe it is something to overcome, but it's not impossible running well from those outside posts when you are unfortunately stuck losing some ground.
Well, tell me about the 10, who I did not use on my ticket.
I took a little shot with a class dropper in Tammy's Orchid. Her biggest problem is kind of getting out of the gate as well. She's been a little bit slow out in her first 2, out a little slow, and that sometimes will be the result of horses being bumped around at the start of the race. I think, and you consistently see horses getting bumped at the break. It's because they're just breaking a little bit flat-footed. So hoping second time now on the turf, dropping in class. She clearly improved a lot switching to the grass last time for Barkley Tag, and will be in for the 16,000 today, getting Lasix. I thought she had a pretty strong work tab up at Palm Meadows as well.
Ridden by Joe Bravo this afternoon. The number 1 horse, the Super Ligero, was actually favored just for a couple of moments here before the 12 went favored. This one is the daughter of Gio Ponte, debuting for trainer Christophe Command. Lasix, Tyler Gaffalione, named to ride. So, I said in my analysis what the tote action, knew this horse would take some money. Wanted to show you stat. Maybe this will help you out with Christophe Clement. First-time starters, maiden claimers on the turf. He's 7 for 33,
Wow.
21%. He's got a good 52% return of investment and a nice positive ROI of $3.13. So if you go by the stat, I just think this horse has a shot to run. Got to deal with the inside post, first-time starter. I wanted to ask you one thing about the number 7 in here. We know his big price on board, Sarah Mia, who's the daughter of English Channel out of the Artie Schillemare, Gutierrez girl. It looks like this is turf up and down for me. I mean, it's Juan Avila. How did you say?
Avila.
Avila, yeah,
Yep.
and Marcos Meneses. I just kept going back to the breeding
Yeah.
on this horse.
No, you're absolutely right. And you had a good pick for the Juan Avila barn in the nightcap yesterday. That horse who took a lot of money from the 15-1 morning line and got the job done. But you're absolutely right. I found English channels tend to get better as they race, as they get a little bit older and as the distances go on. But this one absolutely is bred up and down to like the grass.
Yeah, so we'll see how that run runs. Just a what do you call it? Breeding play for me, excuse me. 12-1. Let's go to race number 2, 6 furlongs. Maiden claimers fillies, 3-year-olds, $35,000 down to $30,000. Going to scratch the outside horse in here, the number 8. And I went to the number 3 in here, Ms. V Time, who's dropping a notch on the maiden scale today after pressing the pace. Finishing second is the even money favorite in there. I just thought with Dale Romans, Louis Saez, maybe this one had a shot. You might be on to the right horse with the number 1. Is she frosted?
Well, I actually had initially landed on the other Barboza runner, Nyaguita Queen, to the outside, but I scratched into this one. Is she frosted? We'll backtrack to that last race from this filly, who was off of a little bit of a layoff. She was running in her first dirt ment race as well, and this was her showing speed. She was bet down to 9-5 that afternoon, and she finished second ahead of Nuska, who's there in the red colors, right to her outside, who finished third in that afternoon. Nuska for Fausto Gutierrez getting the blinkers on today, maybe be a little bit sharper, but I thought that these two fillies ran pretty solidly in this race. The winner, Cozy Valentine, came up the inside.
Yeah, I had both of them on my ticket, but behind the 3 horse in there, Miss V Time. And Nuska, I think the blinkers are going to help this afternoon, as you mentioned, with Edgar Zayas in the saddle. The third race this afternoon, we're going to stay on the fast main track, a 6 furlong sprint. These are claimers, 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, $6,250. And you went with the number 6 in here, Decology, who I can understand there from Mauricio Fuentes.
Yeah, this was kind of a little bit of a class dropping. Angle has just been running against much tougher in the last 2, both on turf and dirt. Drops in for the 6250, non-winners of 3 condition now, and has a little bit of natural speed too. And looking at the way this horse was running in the summer, that's kind of what I was going off of. I like seeing the rider switch to Edgar Zayas, and I said, I'm actually going to maybe get a little bit of a price in here where I like it's a risk, but I think with the presence of Irad Ortiz, it is going to take some money, and to be honest, had a little bit of a disappointing performance at this level last time out.
Yeah, I went with It's a Risk, who's turning back to the 3/4, followed that upset 2 lifetime victory at the distance, comes back, just runs, as you mentioned, at OK fourth, going 6.5. Kelly Breen, leading jock, Irad Ortiz Jr., and I split him with Moon Pistol, who you have a little further down on your ticket, who's cutting back to this distance of 6 furlongs, had traffic on the turn, finished second. In front of It's a Risk last time out, Lionel Reyes will be in the saddle.
And he's good at bringing home some of those price plays, too. I had a little bit of interest as far as grabbing a share on the one Dream D'Oro, who's making the first start for Hubert Pinnock. But keeping Luis Saez, and this one I think will be speed from the inside and has not run this low in his career as of yet.
Yeah, the morning line favorite, and we had to go back
really?
and take a second look on that horse. I didn't use it, so we'll see how that one runs for Mr. Pinnock. Fourth race this afternoon. I'm back on the turf at 5 furlongs. Claimers, fillies, and mares. 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or a race since August 5th. So a dated claimer this afternoon, and we both have we both have the 5 and 6 on there. We'll start it off with your top pick in here, Precocious Peach, who's a 6-time winner at the distance, 5 for 8 in the money locally. I just thought this horse would run well. Broke through the gate prior to coming up empty in the Claiming Crown Distaff Dash. Before you talk about it, I want to just show you a stat that I pulled on Sarah Nagel with this 61 to 100 day layoff on all levels on the turf. Really good, 7 for 20, 35%, 50% in the money, $6.02 is the return investment. Maybe I should have had this one on top.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive with that stat, too. I like that. It makes me feel even better. And yeah, this was just a class play, basically, for this one, who was running against much tougher last time out in the Claiming Crown Distaff Dash. You mentioned breaking through the gate. But prior to that, her race in September against, I think, tougher state-bred company, she was beaten just by 3/4 of a length, and she gets Edgar Zayas up today.
Yeah, Edgar Zayas in the saddle today. And, you know, I went with the horse. We flip-flopped our exactor in here with the number 5, Foxy Bell, who's, I think, sitting on a real winning performance today after shipping down from Canada into Saffie Joseph Jr.'s barn and finishing that well-meant second at this level and distance, ran fine with Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle today.
And I think second time here in Florida, second time with Saffie, we're going to see an even stronger race today.
I did have originally Liza Star on my ticket, and it was a late scratch we got just before we came on the air, so I added the number 4 horse in here, and that is Extra Effort, who I had on my ticket. It's got some speed. This horse, I think, maybe can grab a share.
Turning back in distance, I had a little bit of interest as far as the 3 coined the phrase, who I think just ran against. There's no likes of Richie's Great Girl in here. I think this is actually a little bit of a softer spot.
Well, with that said, we'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket. And once again, don't forget, it is Beat the Expert Day, so make sure you get your selections in. Good luck, everybody.
In the 2-path. Ground on first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Acacia. Beautiful Friday afternoon. Later on, of course, we have the Stronach 5. We got lots going on today, especially the Rainbow 6 Acacia. $850,000 jackpot guaranteed. Seems like 4 days ago it was $100,000.
I know, pretty impressive to see how quickly it's grown. And you mentioned that Stronach 5. We've got the band all back together today, all 4 tracks in play, and we are the bookends here at Gulfstream this afternoon.
Yeah, we very rarely kick it off. It's usually at Laurel, so our 7th race at 4:15 p.m., and then we close it up, not with our last race, our next to last race, race number 9. So we got all, as you said, got the whole gang involved today in the Stronach 5. So that is a little later on. Now let's take a look at my Rainbow 6 ticket, $43.20. And I do have a single a little later on. I got 2 in here. I thought Bibu and Bernhanu is the logical 2 in here. 3 deep in race number 6. And let's go to that single. I'm just going to go with Blind Ambition. This one is back in the allowance optional claiming ranks. You know, ran against Imprimis, an extravagant kid, you know, last time out. 7-year-old with Johnny V. And I got lots of coverage in the last race. And you see all the way there, number 12 is a horse I'm taking a shot with. Gelded Son, a 4. Efren Loza Jr. of Tamuka. How you say that one? Tamara Cruz?
Tamara Cruz.
Yeah, Tamara Cruz. You know, just worth the flyer at a price in there. So race number 10, I got 4 deep, including that number 12.
I think the Shadwell names are the pain of Ron's existence.
They look at him, and I just, you know, I practice them before I come on the air, too. That's the scary part.
He does practice. I hear him practicing.
So we'll see. I'm going to get it later on. I always get it right, sort of, the second time. With that said, this race here, I did go with the 11 Bibu. I know you like to say that name. Cut some scratches of the 2, 3, 7, and the number 12 in here. So a couple of spots in. This one's going to break from, you know, post 8 today. Gets both Lasix and blinkers. Set the pace and faded to finish a distant third. But those are at the 50 level for Brad Cox. He's got good stats, as you would guess, with first-time blinkers, Lasix, Tyler Gaffalione. It's just a drop-down play.
Yeah, it's a significant drop in class, and I think that this one we ran for 50 in the last 2, and is now sticking at Gulfstream Park. was well beaten, though. He finished in the money. So I think the drop makes a lot of sense in here. Preferred just slightly another class dropper, and that's the 8, Berhanu, as we have a little musical jockey. Says Tyler Gaffleone rode Berhanu in the last 2. He's going to ride Bibu today. And I ride Ortiz rode Bibu last time, and he's going to ride Berhanu today. So a little bit of a switcheroo here, but I thought that this gelding by the Factor, who I didn't mind sprinting on the turf 2 back, but I think he's versatile, and they added the blinkers last time, which I think is something that's going to help him. And again, just a significant drop in class down to a spot that I think he should fit.
Yeah, just had a couple of slow starting sprints. I think second time blinkers, as you mentioned, is going to help. Was the favorite, and that was 35. Did 2 starts back, 50 on the turf. Champions Up is dropping to this level on the main track and going to get that Lasix today after showing speed and fading in his 35 career debut. Going 7.5 on the turf for Antonio Sano. Luis Saez surface switch this afternoon. It's sort of intriguing with the surface switch, and how good is Antonio going? So you got to keep a lookout. You got to look at him all the time if he's got a horse in the race.
I think so. I think now maybe 20 wins at the meet, dropping in class, and also the turn back from the 2 turns to the 1 turn, I think should suit as well, as he did show speed on that debut.
Well, let's go to race number 6, and this one is a mile and a 16th on the turf. These are claimers, fillies, and mares, 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life, or race since August 5th, 35 down to $25,000. Scratch the main track only. Number 5. This starts our late pick 5 of the afternoon. We got a single in here with the number 8, Barraquilla.
I do. I decided to just rip the Band-Aid off right in the first leg here, but the number 8, Barrica, hard not to be a fan of this 8-year-old mare who shows up just every time. And when kind of splitting hairs last time, and she was the class of the field, I had felt that she, in the past, had looked fitter, sharper, and she was off of a layoff from August to January. And I think now, as she's an 8-year-old, that was kind of showing last time. So I think second off the layoff now, we're going to see an even stronger race from her. And I remember speaking to Danny Gargan last time that she'll only race maybe 1 or 2 more times, and then they'll breed her. So certainly you have to give hats off to this 8-year-old and what she's done on the track. But she loves it here at Gulfstream. I think this is a good spot for her, and she'll be my single. And I wanted some coverage. I used the horse that you singled in race 9, but I also backed myself up with Yes, I Am Free, who won nicely last time out. And I'm 3 deep in the nightcap.
Yeah, 1, 3, and number 5. I did go with the number 6. I'm Listening in the spot. And just, we can go back and show that last race that you pulled between I'm Listening and the 8 horse.
Yeah, this was back on January 7th. This one was when I'm Listening was with trainer Mary Epler, has since been claimed by Kelly Breen. We're starting, though, at the beginning, where we'll highlight Barrica just off a little bit awkwardly from that outside post. She didn't really have the easiest time. Now she's parked wide in the early stages of the race. And as we then cut to the end, from the stretch on, here's the 2 of them. I'm Listening closing from the outside, Barrica closing as well. And I'm Listening had a little bit of a shuffle back early on, too, and had to re-rally. And I think once she re-rallied, she did that quite well.
Yeah, I think those are both major players in the race for these reasons we're just showing you. Then we'll see how it plays out. So we're going to go 6, 8, 8, 6 in this particular spot. The 2 horses I did use on my Rainbow 6. The other horse I had some interest in was the 1, looking like a queen who's going to depart from the rail. Close to finish 6, was only beaten a length by the horse that seemed to be unbelievable right now, and that's Bienville Street, and that was in the Sunshine Filly Mare Turf. Herman Walensky drops her to the 35 level. And Johnny Velasquez, I said, I got to give this horse a shot to be somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, you're right. I looked at this one for a while. I mean, she ran well last time, all things considered, against much tougher competition. I did like, though, the number 4, Our Little Jewel, who was running against a starter allowance company last time. Was pretty rank, hard to handle early on. I think that was actually a pretty salty field for a starter allowance. The drop in for the 35,000 should suit today.
Well, that is race number 6. The 7th race was staying on the turf. 5 furlongs on the grass. Claim is 4 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, 20 down to 16. Scratch the 9 and the number 11 in here. And you went with the 2 horse in the apartment, who's a sharp $35,000 maiden winner, sprinting on the turf a couple of starts back.
You know, I had a really tough time with this race, actually. I did not think it was easy. I kind of just eventually threw my hands up and said, well, I'm going to go with Putman, who the 2 turf sprints for this barn have been very good. One was that open length victory for 35, 2 starts back. Prior to that, tried 2 turns on the turf, which did not suit him at all. And before that, in maiden special weight, sprinting on grass back in September, ran a good third. So I think getting back on the turf today, sprinting is where it's at for this one. He's in good form. He has speed. I respect French Reef, and on paper, it seems like it's kind of easy to want to go to him. I just find it really hard to trust this horse.
Yeah, he was beaten ahead as the 4-5 favorite at this level of distance, 2 starts back. He returns, he encountered some truffle last time out, and he finished in 5th. He again was the public choice that afternoon for Rowan Crichton. Claimed him a couple of starts back, and Arad Ortiz Jr. this afternoon. These are 2 that I used on my ticket, both the 2 Putman and the 7 French Reef, the Irish bred. I had some interest in the number 1, Our Destiny. He was hoping to save just a little more for the stretch drive after disputing those swift early fractions. It's sort of 1 pace 6th at this level in distance, but I really respect the connections of Ken Sweezy, Louis Saez. Maybe this horse holds on. Maybe not to win it, but on the try or super or something like that.
And he could set a good stalking trip if there is a very quick pace. And I was kind of interested in the 8 Burning Through Gold, as they've tried a lot of times to get this horse on the turf, and they'll finally do that. He is a half to stakes winner, multiple stakes winner, Medallia Gold, who was the 6-time turf winner and one of 2 of the siblings that won on the grass. The mare also had a minor win on turf. So I'm not sure how he'll handle it, but they seem pretty intent on trying the turf. So I included this one underneath.
Trained by Mark Hennig, and I just saw a tweet yesterday. He's having a really good session up there in New York at Aqueduct.
Yeah, doing well up in New York, absolutely.
Race number 8 this afternoon, 5 1/2 furlong sprint, an allowance, state breds for 3-year-olds. And just thought that this was a really nice race this afternoon. We basically have the same try in here. I did go with Ampersand, but let's start with Real Talk. Tell me why you like that one.
Well, I landed on this one, who I thought actually ran very well last time behind Willie Boy, who I think had been a big question after breaking his maiden and then stepping up into that state bred allowance company. And he won nicely those first couple of starts and then went into tougher stakes company after that, where he was defeated, but clearly had shown his quality. I think this horse suits sprinting, ran well, I think, against a deep field last time, a legitimate runner, and keeps Jose Ortiz for the ever dangerous Carlos David.
Yeah, Ampersand is making his sophomore debut after that brief but sort of interesting 2-year-old campaign. He broke his maiden in the mud at the Spa and followed that with that distant 4th-place finish behind multiple Grade 1 winner Jackie's Warrior in the Grade 1 Hopeful. Didn't do much running in there. Phil Serpy has the Son of Spites. They're really training well locally. Adds Lasix, Louis Saez. Curious to see how this horse comes back and run.
Me too. As I remember being kind of surprised that they entered him in the Hopeful, which didn't come up a very big field. I think a lot of people maybe didn't want to run against Jackie's Warrior, but and rightfully so. And actually, Mutasa Beck came out of that race to win a graded stake on turf after that. But I think it was a very soft maiden special weight field. It was off the turf. It was just 5 horses. But we haven't seen him since the Hopeful, and clearly he's one they've had high hopes for. You mentioned the good work tab, so I'm excited to see him back today. Also had to give a little bit of respect to the 2 Bailey, who broke his maiden last time very impressively over an X-Stout winner.
Yeah, I want to show you it's sort of a niche stat with Safi Joseph Jr. First after the claim, these are against state-bred runners on the dirt. He's 4 for 11, 36%, 45% in the money. 258 is the return of investment just over the past couple of years, and just put in state-bred to see what it would come up. I was curious, and a good stat, 4 for 11, but the barn is going so good. All those stats, maybe they help you point in the right direction. So interesting to see Ampersand come back and run, and Real Talk, and of course Bailey. I wonder if it's named after Jerry Bailey or after Bailey Irish Cream. I don't know which one it would be. Which one?
Well, the dam is named Hurrah for Bailey, so
that's probably it. That's the reason.
I think it was barely Irish Cream, though, personally.
Race number 9 this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf, allowance optional claiming 4 and up. The optional claiming price $62,500. Scratch the number 5 in here at Jackson. Going to sort of interested to see Jackson run on the turf, but that's not going to come to fruition this afternoon. And I'll start it off because this is where I had my single in here. And you have it on top, too. I'm glad. Blind Ambition back in the allowance optional claiming ranks. Return from the layouts, finished 6th behind graded stakes place superstars. As I mentioned, Imprimis Extravagant Kid in the 75 Janices. There's no Imprimis in Extravagant Kid. kids in this race.
No, there aren't. I mean, this is a class play for me, and I'm sure you felt the same.
Yeah.
I mean, the two horses you mentioned that he was running against last time are a world above what he's facing today. And even before that, up at Woodbine, he was running in Grade 2 company behind some very tough horses too. And so I think that there's definitely class in here. This is a multiple graded stakes placed horse. Even back in 2018, when with Todd Pletcher, he was second in the Troy. I mean, there's definitely a ton of back class here, and even just recently as well. I think he makes a lot of sense. We do have a couple of horses coming out of that January 7th race, though, where Yes, I Am Free did get the win, and on paper, that looked like it was going to be a searing pace. Turned out it wasn't really as fast as some had expected, so we didn't really see the horses coming from last closing. It turned out that the 5, Yes, I Am Free, got the best trip in here, and the speed of Dare Day held on pretty well as he was the 3 setting the pace. We'll get a chance to see these two rematch this afternoon.
Yeah, the rematch this afternoon. Yes, I Am Free. Yeah, and you're right about that. You know, the first quarter, it was a little slow. I'm not, sold on that time, that early time in there, 44.50 for the half-mile time in there. So we'll see how that horse runs. Mark Cassie and Embassy Al Jaramillo, this horse going for 3 in a row. So certainly a good form. Number 6, My Tie Went On. I think rekindled the horse for course angle when he returned from the layoff to win for the 4th time in 9 races on the Gulfstream turf, albeit it was at the $35,000 level for Jane Sibeli. Louis Saez atop this previous winner has won at this level in the past. Just an old horse for course play for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you look just a little over a year ago, January of 2020 was second by a neck to Payne Price at this condition here at Gulfstream. So we'll see if he can find some of that back class again today.
We're going to wrap it up on the turf this afternoon. Race 10, 1 mile maiden claimer, 3-year-olds, $25,000 down to $20,000. And I think we both have dueling long shots in here. So we'll start with yours, number 3, Gale Power.
Yeah, and I think with this scratch and just kind of how this race may play out, I don't think he will maybe be as big a price as I had initially hoped, but I think that there's enough turf breeding here. This is a gelding by Soldat, debuting for $25,000. The works are really nothing special up at Palm Beach Downs, so I think he's well spotted for the debut. I like George Weaver with his firsters, and sometimes they tend to fly under the radar a little bit, so that's what I was kind of hoping would happen in here. And I felt, as clearly you did too, that this race just seemed kind of prime for a firster.
Yeah, and I went with the outside horse, and he was actually going to break from post 11, and that's Cartano. It's a gelded son of Tamarcuz, debuting for Efren Loza Jr., who's 3 for 6, 50% with his debut turf runners. I just thought he was worth the flyer at a price despite the outside post today. Just looking for a first-time start and maybe score 15-1 on the morning line. Had a lot of success with Efren Loza Jr.'s horses in the past.
Oh, absolutely. Same kind of thing. They tend to be a little bit of a price as we don't see him race here as often, but a very capable trainer, and I'm certainly interested to see what some of those firsters do. I thought, and I see you agree, that the one with experience that I'd prefer in here was the 5, Congrats Again, who's only had 1 start on the turf, though he is 0 for 10.
Yeah, 0 for 10. And, he was 5th behind next out winners Golovkin and Rolito. Golovkin came right to run pretty good at a big price yesterday.
Actually.
Didn't win it, but ran okay. So, and the other horse that we both had was Supplication, who's has that claiming tag carved in half from Mark Cassie, son of Point of Entry.
And beaten by Golovkin that day. This will be his 3rd start with the blinkers on.
Well, with that said, we're going to go to our lightning round this afternoon on this beautiful Friday afternoon.
That's right. We'll recap a little bit of what happened yesterday afternoon, starting with Jose Ortiz, who maybe has had a little bit more of a quiet meet, not riding as much here down for the championship meet, but he has really picked things up quite a bit, of course, with a big win in the Holy Bull aboard Greatest Honor this past Saturday, and then 3-win day yesterday.
Yeah, really nice 3-win day yesterday. And just looking at the mounts that he has over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, he has a chance to really get going.
Yeah.
He took some time off. He just taking a little easy. He's got his brother winning all the races here, but he's a absolutely terrific rider. So I just thought that he would really, if he gets the mounts, he's going to win with them. That's for sure.
I mean, how great is it to watch the Ortiz brothers when they're 1-2 coming down to the wire as well as it was in that race we just showed. So congratulations on a good day to Jose as we look ahead to a mount that will be ridden by Tyler Gaffalione on Saturday, and that is La Signare in the Swanee River. Looking forward to seeing her back at the age of 6. This was her win last year in the the Sand Spring.
Yeah, she's a pretty nice horse. I was looking at making her 6-year-old debut, as you mentioned. I just think she can run well for Brian Walsh. I think that this horse has got a big shot. Going to be the favorite. Got to come off the layoff and see how this one runs.
Coming out of some tough graded stakes tries before that layoff, but glad to see her back as a 6-year-old tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we'll see that older mare. We'll also see some first-time starters with some big breeding run in race number 7 in particular. It's a sprint on the main track, but there's some real classic pedigrees in there. We have the half-brother. First, we'll look at the stretch run from Mucho Gusto as his half-brother, Campeador, is going to debut tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you go through this as I was doing the work on this race. I just kept looking back and saying, look at these horses, the breeding on these horses in this race. You got Democracy, who's a $400,000 son of Quality Road, and a couple other interesting horses in here.
Yeah, we're looking at the Fountain of Youth win from Code of Honor back a couple years ago, and his half-brother is also going to debut in that race number 7 as the Fountain of Youth coming up in just a few weeks. Pretty timely as well, and of course that horse Bears Watching will debut for Shug McGahee.
Yeah, just great. One of these races you see at Gulfstream, you just start turning the page and you say, wow, look at these, breeding on his horses. It'll be interesting to see. By the way, Shug's horse is going to break from post 12 tomorrow, so seems if this horse can run well, looks like he's working really nicely.
Has been up at Payson Park, and we'll get a chance to talk about that tomorrow, but really looking forward to that 7th race with those big pedigrees. And of course, with 3-year-olds, it's that time of year. We look ahead to the Triple Crown as the nominations have been released, highlighted, of course, by Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Essential Quality.
Yeah, Essential Quality. And just, the 326 early nominations. Somebody was telling me 47 of them or something like that are Todd Pletcher.
Wow.
Some amount like that, yeah. He was telling me
Nice
yesterday.
to be Todd Pletcher, right?
Yeah, 47 or 49 or something like that. So we'll see how, Todd has a handful, that's for sure.
He does. It seemed like he won just about, he back in December, won every 2-year-old boys race here at Gulfstream with the exception of one, and that was Greatest Honor, who did go on to win the Holy Bull. So looking forward, of course, to that. We're sticking with our theme, though, of the cute foal of the day picture. This one from another new stallion. This is a filly by Good Magic out of the L&J Foxwoods mare Tapped.
Oh, look how cute that is. Are you kidding me? Look at that little halter on.
That's great. And the white blaze, just like Daddy.
Yeah, just look at that. So beautiful. Look at this. He's got good conformation already, too. He's got those muscles. He's ready to go.
I love that. Looking forward to seeing, of course, Good Magic, a son of Curlin, stands right next to his dad, Curlin, as well at Hillendale. So looking forward to seeing his offspring. We see that influence of that big white face already. So congratulations to them. And Ron, we talked a little bit about all the big stuff coming up today. One of those big things is, of course, Astronic 5.
Yeah, Astronic 5. And you like the fact that all the racetracks are back. We got all the Astronic racetracks, Laurel, Santa Anita, Golden Gate, of course, a couple from us, the opener and the finale of the Astronic 5.
Wraps up with race 9 at Gulfstream, the penultimate race at Gulfstream, as you like to say. Don't forget to tune in for the Astronic 5 a little bit later on, and all of the great racing today at Gulfstream as we send it up to track announcer Pete Aiello for Scratches and Changes.